Hello, ladies. Welcome to the live. It's Coach Steph. Welcome in. If you are watching the replay, hashtag replay, we're going to be talking about overcoming sugar cravings today. Hot topic for a lot of you guys, and I'm going to kind of break down really quickly because I'm not going to be on here long, how you can overcome those cravings, why you might be having those cravings, and I want to get some feedback from you guys in terms of why you think you have the cravings, and if you guys are doing some of the things I'm going to indicate to you that might be causing those, okay? So as you hop on, say hello. If you're watching the replay, you can hashtag replay and let me know that you are watching. Afterwards, you guys, I'm going to try to remember this, but let me know what is your biggest takeaway from the live once you watch the whole thing through. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was, okay? So hopefully I can see comments. Jennifer, okay, she says stress. All right, that is a really big one actually, and we're going to talk a lot about that. Stress is going to come up a few times, so that's a good one. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so I'm going to dive in. I have my notes pulled up. So when we talk about hunger and cravings, right, we are really talking about a couple of things. We have our physical sensation of hunger when your stomach is actually empty, right? We have to eat in order to live. And when you hear that, like, your stomach is growling, right? There's a peristalsis that happens. It's just like our digestive tract starts with from our mouth to what I call the poop chute from my son. And so that includes your intestines, your esophagus, your stomach. And when you start to get a little bit hungry, or like maybe if you smell food, if you see somebody eating, you may be able to hear your stomach growling because the muscles in your digestive tract start to contract, and it's wanting some food. So it's like trying to move food through the digestive tract, but there's no food in there, right? So we actually have our physical sensation of actually when our stomach or digestive system is running on empty and we need some food, right? So there's a physical sensation. There's also a hormonal component. Our hormone called ghrelin is the hormone that signals to your brain that, hey, I'm hungry. So those are both physical or physiological ways that we feel hungry. But sometimes when we talk about hunger or feeling hunger, we might actually be talking about a psychological need to eat, right? Which might be like after I come home from work, you take off your bra, you lay down on the couch, and you lay down in your favorite spot on the couch, right? And you have just built this habit of grabbing some popcorn or grabbing the chocolate bar or grabbing an ice cream. And it's not that it's necessarily physiological, it could be both, but it's just a habit that you've built over time that, like, when I sit in this chair with this, cover at this particular time of the day, like, I feel like I need to be putting something in my mouth, right? So it might be that psychologically you're feeling like I need something, right? So there's a physiological need to eat, obviously. There's a psychological, and then sometimes it's emotional. So when Jennifer mentioned stress, it could be sadness, it could be loneliness, it could be that food is like really comforting to you. And so when you experience certain emotions that are uncomfortable to experience, you want to kind of distract yourself from those emotions with feeling good with something that is going to give you that dopamine and something sugary, something sweet, something fatty that makes you feel good. Okay? So we have a need to eat, but then there's also some other reasons why we may be craving sugary things. Erica, girl, you are sent by God. I just finished a little Debbie was feeling bad. That's hilarious. You did not fail. It's just one Debbie cake, okay? It's fine. If you don't want to, I would say one of the things I'm going to mention here too is like detoxing your house, detoxing your place so that you can show up in the way that you want to show up. I always crave sugar. We're going to talk about some ways or some reasons why that might be, stress, everything. Yeah. So physiological needs to eat. We have some psychological, just like habitual things that we do, and then some emotional reasons why we might eat. So a craving is something that is like a strong desire for something, right? And a lot of times when we think about like dieting or weight loss, most of you guys immediately start telling me about what your workout regimen is. And then we think of, what can I not have? What do I need to take away? What do I need to restrict? And I think this also kind of goes into the psychological part of hunger, of thinking like, if I tell myself, okay, Monday I'm on this diet and now I can't have sugar, right? I kind of cringe just a little bit. I just saw this on Facebook from someone that I follow who said, no sugar, no soda, no this, no that, no that. And I'm just like, huh. When you focus, when your energy, your thought energy is focused on what you do not want to have, all you want to do is have that thing, right? So it's actually counterintuitive for us to set up our week or set up our diet and say, these are all the things I'm not going to have, because that's all the things that you're going to want. And every time you go and you eat broccoli or you eat whatever it was, you're like, man, I really wish this was some chocolate, right? So sometimes when we feel restricted or deprived, we tend to feel like we are not supposed to have the sugary things, and it just makes us want to have that even more. Especially like, say you've been doing that for a few weeks and you see some chocolate, you just want the chocolate, right? And so we have this all or nothing mentality to where it's just like, either I'm totally not having any sugar or I'm just eating it very mindlessly, right? And so there's an imbalance of what we want to do, how we want to be showing up, versus us being able to have some balance and like have it but not too much of it. Okay, so there's a couple of reasons why, and Jennifer mentioned stress earlier, so let's talk about that. In terms of stress, there are several ways that we can stress our body out. Okay, so a lot of you guys have stressful jobs, and your job is just like the thing that's just like, ugh, in your life, right? So you're dreading getting up, going to work in the morning, can't wait to get off, can't wait for Friday, and Friday just seems like a total release, and then the weekends are just shot because you're trying to decompress, right? So we have our psychological stress, and that is a thing in and of itself. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but I'm going to talk about all the other ways that you're stressing yourself out too. So we have our psychological stress just from life, kids, work, husband, whatever. Then we also have the fact that we're not sleeping enough, right? I've gotten several clients. Nobody sleeps enough, right? Like 5 or 6 hours. We're sleeping on 5 or 6 hours. We think we're good because we're functioning, but it's actually messing with that hunger hormone ghrelin that I talked about earlier. And your cortisol hormone, which is your stress hormone, which is the hormone that likes to hold on to fat around our midsection. So not only are we psychologically stressed out, we're also stressed out from not getting enough sleep, our physiological stress, right? Then you might be dieting and restricting sugar, carbs, energy, calories, and that's also stress on the body. That's another way that we're stressing out our body by not giving our body the nutrients that it needs. So you think you're restricting calories because you want to lose weight. And what you're also doing is restricting nutrients that fuel your body as well, right? So we're stressing our body out in multiple ways. Another way that we can be stressing our body out is by our activity, we tend to, again, be all or nothing. And now it's like, I'm going to work out 5 times a week, 2 times a day. Well, you're already not eating enough. You're not sleeping 7 to 9 hours. Your life is stressful, and you're not really doing anything to mitigate like life stress. And now you're over exercising. Again, cortisol goes up, right? And a lot of us live in a chronically stressful environment in life, right? So not only is that creating stress on the body, which is increasing your cortisol, which is might be increasing fat around your midsection, it could be increasing your hunger hormones, right? Stress from all of those reasons could be increasing the reason why you're hungry more often, okay? So our hunger hormone ghrelin is responsive to us being stressed, okay? So you might feel hungry, especially if you're not getting enough sleep. Your body needs more energy, right? Because you're up longer throughout the day. You're not getting the hours of sleep that you need. So your body's like, hey, I need some energy. I need energy. So what does it do? It tells you to eat more. And what is the simplest way for your body to get energy? Sugar. It is the easiest way for your body to get energy. And that is a lot of times what we are needing. We are not well fed. Even if you're overeating, a lot of you, because of the choices that you're making in terms of your food, you're still lacking in major nutrients, right? So it's really important that we listen to our body and kind of go inward. Like, why am I feeling so hungry? It might be because you need to eat, right? And so I'm going to talk about what we need to be picking, but yes, sugar is good. It causes certain dopamine release in our body that we like it, and so we kind of like want more of that. But also, when you're not fully nourishing your body in the first place, which is why you have those hunger hormones, or which is why you have that craving, that's going to be one of the major ways that you can help to mitigate your sugar cravings. So what does this look like? Obviously, number one, you want to make sure that you're trying to mitigate your stress, right? So since I was talking about stress, let's dive into that. So if you are chronically stressed from work, from life, from your kids, from your husband, other things in life, right? How are you enjoying yourself? How are you laughing? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you taking a moment alone so that you're not overstimulated? A lot of times, especially if you're a mom of new babies or something like that, you're so overstimulated with your phone, with someone always needing your attention. So it's really important that you put in a long-term strategy for enjoying yourself, for relaxation on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis, doing something every day, every week, so that over time you have a system for helping you to decrease stress hormones, right? And then of course we have our acute stress response when something has happened, and we have to take care of that in the moment, and we have to manage stress during an acute time. But a lot of times we don't even have a system in place to just enjoy ourselves on a regular basis, right? So mitigating that stress, getting enough sleep, 7 to 9 hours of sleep. So if you're only getting 5 hours of sleep right now, you want to just kind of bump that up to 5:30. How can I get just another 30 minutes of sleep, right? Do that for a couple weeks. Then, okay, how can I get up to 6 hours, right? And just kind of baby step your way up to 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Of course, you want to not be over exercising, and we want to be getting enough calories. So let's dive into that part, right? So a lot of times when you're craving sugar, you're craving energy because you're not actually eating enough food. Your body is wanting to be well nourished and well fed. So what does this look like? A lot of us, or I'm going to say us because I don't do this. I like breakfast. A lot of y'all might be skipping breakfast, right? And then wondering why when you come home from work, you're so hungry. Starting your day off with, it doesn't have to be super early, but having some protein, having some fiber, and having some healthy fat and water. Those are the 4 things. Okay, so this is what I start my clients off, everybody, with this formula. Can you plan in and have some sort of protein, some source of fiber, some source of healthy fat, and some source of water? And water between like 10 to 16 ounces of water. So if you're having this, so if you haven't been eating breakfast and you're like, there's no way I can eat breakfast at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So let's say you don't usually eat until noon. Again, just try to bump it up to like 11:30 or 11. Like, how can I eat just a little bit earlier than I normally do, and continue to scoot that up so that you can have a little bit more time throughout the day to eat. Because a lot of us, even if you eat 3 times a day, a lot of you guys still have a lot of trouble actually getting in enough nutrients to nourish your body in 3 meals a day. So of course, if you're only eating twice a day, you're definitely not getting enough protein. You're definitely not getting enough iron, magnesium, like vitamin K. Like, do you know how many nutrients we're supposed to have in a day? And if you're only eating once or twice a day, you're not getting those nutrients. So it's no wonder your body is signaling to you, hey, can you give me some like actual nutrients here, right? So breakfast is what I call the breakfast formula, having some sort of protein. So that could look like something as simple as Greek yogurt, right? This is like a grab and go breakfast. A Greek yogurt, my favorite is Dannon Light and Fit. I tell all my clients about this because I love this yogurt. Dannon Light and Fit is the vanilla. It has like 14 grams of protein if you buy it in like the bigger container. If you buy it in the smaller ones, it's like 12 grams of protein. So yogurt is like a go-to. Fruit, so that could be an apple, or you could do like mix in strawberries and blueberries in your Greek yogurt. And then a healthy fat could be some shaved almonds in your Greek yogurt. It could be a handful of nuts. Some people put peanut butter in their yogurt. I'm not a fan of peanut butter, so I wouldn't do that. But let's just say you did some shaved almonds, right? So that is a balanced meal. Balanced means you got some carbs, you got some protein, you got some fat, you have some fluid. That's balance, right? So having that and having your meals structured that way throughout the day, every between 2 and 4 hours, right? So I have my clients start with their breakfast formula, and we work on practicing that for a whole week before we change anything else. Let's start with the breakfast formula. And then I have them map out like every 2 to 4 hours, I want you to be eating something. So, and that is not just like a cookie cutter, like everyone eats at 8, everyone eats at 10. No, like based on your natural hunger cues, if I know I eat breakfast at 8 o'clock and I'm hungry again by 10, I'm going to put a snack there. But if I'm not hungry at 10, then that's okay. I can wait 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can eat at noon. Right? I try not to go longer than 4 hours without eating. Right? This is what the plan that I help my clients develop. So imagine you eating a well-balanced meal with protein, fat, carbs, and water every at least 4 hours throughout the day. And you're mitigating your stress. And here's the other thing, you're actually incorporating your snacks. You're incorporating your Little Debbie, right? Maybe you have the Little Debbie as one of your like mid-afternoon snacks, but you might have it with some sort of protein. So I've been really big on beef jerky lately. Some of my clients have been trying salmon jerky or turkey jerky recently. When you have the Little Debbie, great, fine. It's fine to have sometimes. Have it with some protein. A couple boiled eggs. I don't know what else you want to have for a snack for protein. But just couple it with something else and just notice how you feel. I want you to just notice your hunger cues when you eat a breakfast that is balanced and your meals are balanced with protein, carbs, fat. and you're eating every 4 hours, you feel like you're eating more, but you're not as hungry. You know why? Because your body is not telling you, hey, I need some food. I need some more nutrients. And it's not even just about calories, it's about our micronutrients as well. So a lot of us are experiencing sugar cravings because we're not feeding our body enough total calories, enough protein, especially we're stressed and we have hormonal signals in our body that is signaling that we need to eat. We also have our psychological triggers when we have just a habit of sitting down in this spot eating cookies or what have you. We have our emotional reasons why, and we distract ourselves with something good to eat. Okay. I'm seeing if there's any more. Is this making sense, y'all? Let me know if this is making sense. So that is one of the major ways, but I want to tell you guys another way that might be really helpful for you in terms of helping with cravings is actually increasing your muscle mass. So when you progressively overload, that just means that you week by week, month by month, year by year even, increase the level of not even just how much you're lifting, but maybe it might be reps or sets. So you're increasing the intensity of your muscle building. You're making sure you're getting enough protein, and actually having more muscle can lower your levels of ghrelin, that hunger hormone, and you tend to crave sugars less, right? So people talk about getting toned all the time. We usually associate that. I think y'all associate that with like fat loss. I could be wrong, but it's really both. It's fat loss and it's muscle gain. And so if you're wanting to, and this is like more of a long-term type of strategy, but like strength train, ladies. Put down your 5-pound weights. Okay? How do you know how heavy you should be lifting? Here's a tip. If you go into the weight room and let's say I'm doing a bicep curl, and I pick up a bicep or a dumbbell and I can do one bicep curl. This is all I can do. Just one time. Maybe that's a 30 pounds. I can only do that one time and I can't do any more. You want to think about what is 60% of that. And that's about 18. So I should be lifting about 18 pounds for about 8 to 12 reps for 3 to 4 sets. And you can kind of apply that approach if you're pretty comfortable. Now, if you have never lifted a weight in your life, you can just start with body weight. But progressively, you'll need to increase your intensity, pick up some dumbbells or some cables or something like that, and increase your weight. But you can apply that philosophy, 60% of your 1 rep max, to even if you were doing a machine weight. Okay. So increasing your muscle mass can actually help you lower your ghrelin levels, and it actually also helps to increase your insulin sensitivity. And your insulin sensitivity, insulin is the UPS driver that kind of like takes the blood sugar from your blood and deposits it in your muscle cell. And the more muscle you have available, the more it's ready to uptake that sugar from the insulin, which is a good thing, right? So let me check the chart again. Is this making sense? Okay, I don't see any more. Y'all let me know if you have any questions, okay? So we talked about our physiological need to eat. We talked about our psychological need to eat, our emotional need to eat. We talked about cravings and how our stress impacts our cravings. And so our last note here is on self-discipline. So I want you to think about, a lot of people will say, like, I'm not disciplined, like, I'm just addicted to sugar. And most people really aren't addicted to sugar. Again, we have a physiological need to eat, but a lot of us won't take responsibility for, these are the actions that I'm taking. So I had this conversation yesterday with a client, and the way that she was positioning her story was like, well, anytime I fall off, like, I just never get back on. Like, it just never seems to work, right? And the way that she was framing it was like the circumstance was happening to her. And I'm like, no. It's your responsibility. The situation and the circumstance is the same over and over again because you keep making the same choices over and over again, right? And so, yes, we have our physiological needs. We have a need to have quote unquote sugar or carbs, because carbs break down to sugar, but sugar is not a bad thing. It's just our body's primary way of getting energy. But we have to take ownership also. And when it comes to self-discipline in this regard, impulse control. So think about going throughout your day. Maybe you've decided, okay, it's Monday, I'm going to do this. And then the day goes on, you've been making lots of decisions, you might be a little bit tired, maybe you didn't eat enough, and then somebody has a cupcake. And it's like, oh my God, I really want a cupcake, right? It's just in that moment, that impulse to just get the thing without remembering your goals, without remembering why this is important, it will pass. Like the craving, it actually passes. It's not long term. So if you find that you're telling yourself, I'm not disciplined or I'm not consistent, right? Just understand that, like, you don't have to look at it as like this big thing to accomplish. It's just like moment by moment, can I resist my impulse and take action in the way that I want to choose what I want most, not what I want right now, right? That's self-discipline. And that is really part of what you need in order to make sure that you're able to manage your cravings well. Now, part of that self-discipline might be detoxing your kitchen and maybe not going down the cookie, chip, ice cream aisle at the grocery store, and then bringing that into your home and then having the cookies on your coffee table or on your kitchen table, and then telling yourself that you shouldn't have it. Well, set your environment up to be successful, right? So self-discipline is also not like bringing it into the house, or maybe if you're living with other people and they have their food, it's totally fine. If your family members, your kids, your husband might really like ice cream, great. Have it, but then don't have it as soon as you open up the freezer, there's the ice cream. Because it's like, oh yeah, I forgot we had ice cream, right? Push it to the back of the freezer. Put the things that actually serve your goals up at the front. I like to, in my vegetable drawer, I really like to, if I get grapes, I like to take them off of the vine, wash them, put them in a little bowl, and it has like a clear top on them so that I can see it. And I like to make my refrigerator nice and colorful and like organized so that I can see my fresh fruit. It makes me want to eat them, right? Right now it looks a mess, but when I go to the grocery store again, like I'll get to reorganize my refrigerator. So you want to put the things that are going to serve your goal in eyesight, in plain sight. That's up front. That's what's in your face. And the things that you can have, but then maybe you don't want to have it all the time, put that in the back so that you're not staring at it every single time, right? And then also just have a plan. If you have no idea what you're going to eat for dinner tonight, when you get off, it's going to be like, dang, I'm hungry. Let's go get some fast food, or let's go get whatever's convenient, right? You have to have a plan. So that's part of setting your environment up for your success. That's part of self-discipline, of having a plan. That way, that's one less decision that you have to make, because we really do get decision fatigue. By the end of the day, we've made so many micro choices, major choices, and now it's just like, okay, let me just get the easiest thing because I'm tired. That's that, again, it's like stress of doing all the things, of not getting enough sleep, of making all these decisions throughout the day. And now we just want to relax. We just want some stress relief, right? So set yourself up for success by pre-planning what you're going to have, even if it's just the night before every night. Just like, okay, hey, here's my balanced breakfast, lunch, dinner, and my 1 or 2 snacks for the day. And that will make a world of difference in your sugar cravings. I have had so many clients who have either had sugar cravings or they came to me and they were not hungry like at the beginning of the day, but they were like really, really hungry in the evening. And as we were able to kind of shift their calories for the day, like I would much prefer you have a really big breakfast than have a really big dinner because you're about to go to bed, right? But having that, when we start to shift that, they're like, man, number one, they might start feeling hungry, like hungrier earlier, but that's actually a good thing. That means their metabolism is kind of firing, but we have a plan in place so that when they are hungry, they're eating on plan. They're having some protein, they're having fiber, they're having water. So it says, true, the craving will pass. Yeah, the craving passes. It's just temporary. So if you can control that impulse, and it all starts in your thoughts of, what do I want most? Start visualizing your best self, your best body, your best inner self, like who you really want to be. Focus more of your thought energy on that, and that craving will start to dissipate. And one of the things that you can do is practice doing that for 5 minutes, just like intentional thought creation. Make sure you're not legitimately hungry though. Like if you're legitimately hungry and somebody has cookies, you're probably just gonna want the cookies because you're hungry. Eat, right? You might just need to eat your meal prep. But if you know that it's not that, it's not a physiological hunger, it might be emotional or just situational, pause. This is something that's been really powerful for some of my one-on-one clients. A powerful pause to just think on purpose about what you want most, not what you want right now, so that you can make a decision from power and not from just mindlessness. The powerful pause. So have that pause, think powerful thoughts. Then decide, do I really want this or not? Right? Sometimes you'll be like, yeah, I do. And you have it, but you waited. So start extending the time. Maybe you do that for 5 minutes. And then the next time you maybe practice that for 6 minutes. The next time you practice it for 7 minutes, so that you can start extending your time of that instant gratification and extending your willpower, but also your self-discipline. To know that, like, oh, if I wait 7 minutes, yeah, the craving will pass. 'Cause I'm thinking like, man, it's probably not going to be good as I think it's going to be. Or you might eat it and it doesn't make you feel good in your body. It makes you feel sluggish and tired. For me, like cookies do that. Like I can't just eat one cookie. Like if I eat one cookie, I'm going to want like a whole bunch more cookies. You never get satisfied. That's a little frustrating for me. Like when I eat sugar, that's why if I'm really hungry, I want something savory. I need some meat. I need some cheese. Like I need actual substance. I can't just go and like eat a whole bunch of cookies because I don't get satisfied. If I'm really thirsty, that's why I drink so much water. If I drink tea or like strawberry lemonade, I love strawberry lemonade, but I don't ever get quenched. Like I don't ever get satisfied from that because carbs just make you want more carbs. So make sure that if you do have the carb, I'm not at all saying that don't eat carbs. I'm saying when you do, always, always, always have protein with it. Have carbs, but have them that have fiber in them, first of all, 3 grams of fiber or more, and then eat more regularly throughout the day. By the time you see how much I want you to eat, Kia, so Kia's in my program, you're going to be like, how much food do you want me to eat? You want me to eat how much? I actually want you to eat more. So I teach my clients how to eat more, not less, and how to have your sweets and incorporate them into your life instead of always focusing on restriction and what I can't have. Okay. So I hope that this was helpful. I think I've told you guys this before, but the Fit Figure Formula group program is closed. We're in week 2. We meet tomorrow, and we're going to be just doing our lunch formula and learning more about that, accountability calls. We did our goals this past week, which I thought was a great call, and we made some identity statements because weight loss really is an inside job. I thought it was a beautiful call. But we are closed for enrollment for the group program, but you can get on the wait list for the last session of the year because I'm only running the group program one more time this year. Or you can also get into the 30-day mind and body reboot. So this is a 30-day challenge that is heavy on the mindset. It does have some nutrition principles and workouts. So it's inside of the same coaching app as my clients are communicating with me in as well. It is really for somebody who, you self-sabotage. You know what to do, but you just ain't doing it consistently. You know that inner work is needed. And so this is really about healing your relationship with you so that you can heal your relationship with food and exercise and your future, heal your self-concept and your confidence. So this is a challenge for somebody who really wants to work on their mindset. I will be inside of the app as well. You get messaging privileges with me. So if you have questions or if you're having a hard time and you want me to help you reframe, I'll be in your back pocket for 30 days. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know either in the comments or DM me and I will send you the link to sign up for the 30-day Mind and Body Reboot. If you want the whole 16 weeks of coaching and support, this is my most supportive program besides the one-on-one that I used to do, then you'll want to get on the wait list. And I think if I don't have it listed in the comments, I'll put it in the comments. So let me make sure nobody, yep. All right, y'all, hopefully this was helpful. So if you watched to the end, tell me what was your biggest takeaway from today's lesson. All right, have a great day. I'll see you soon.